streaming. Okay. It looks like the stream is back now. Whatever. Okay. My internet just died there for a second. Okay. Whatever. Turn this back on. Let's top eyes open. I know. Okay. Yo, 3 damage there? Holy shit. Yeah, for some reason my internet just completely died there, for like a minute. Don't know why. I don't really know what happened. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong, Yeah, it's slowly is an understatement. But I am dealing damage to him. The real test is going to be keeping enough focus to do this long term. I can do it in the short term. The real challenge is maintaining it long term. And I'm concerned about my ability to speak and interact with chat while doing that. Because that is the primary issue I have had during long Moonlord fights in the past, which is that I can focus perfectly fine, but I cannot focus and simultaneously engage with chat. And speak. Because it's just required for chat to load for you. The stream was being weird for a second. It was really difficult for me to restart it for a minute. Okay, almost 100 down. Damn it. I mean, 1% of Moonlord's health bar? No. Look, you don't have to be so negative. Like, we're getting there. We'll do it. As long as we're making progress, we're fine. And even if we're not making progress, we're learning. You know, maybe today ends up being a wash. Maybe this strategy just isn't going to work out and we have to plan something else. That's fine. We learn and then we try something else tomorrow. But this should work as long as I can keep up with paying attention. in a few streams. I've been fighting the Moonlord for like actually fighting the Moonlord for no more than half an hour tops. And even then, I'm still not even sure if that's an accurate assessment of time. At other bosses, how much focus are you using right now? A very large amount. I don't... Significantly higher than any other boss. I mean, I basically have to be constantly attentive of what's going on. There is simultaneously a genuine risk of dying, and a genuine issue regarding healing, both of which I need to avoid. I get like 14 seconds to attack. About. If I plan well like that, I get about 30 seconds, but I need his hand to be positioned correctly. Which doesn't always happen. His hand is on a cycle. Okay. Hey, Bismarck. Okay. Let's try to get an assessment of how much damage we deal. Okay. Let's say we start at 530 here. He's at 371. Let's run for a minute or two. And we can try to scope out a rate of damage based on that. Okay. We did about 20 damage in a minute. Which isn't that bad, all things considered. Could be worse. At that rate, we would be doing, let's see, 1,200 damage an hour. Which means it would take, a very long time. A very long time. That's fine. I got time. I suppose the question might therefore become, Is there a way I can optimize my damage dealing to the Moonlord? I think when we get to the top eye, our DPS will probably be a bit better, because that one's more consistently positioned, and we'll probably deal damage to that one more consistently, and I think that'll probably be true of the core as well, because those two are in more predictable locations, which means it's less of a concern hitting them, because the main issue with the hands right now is that I just cannot hit them. I might also make the executive decision, given the fact that this fight is going to take an obscene amount of time, to research Regeneration, Iron Skin, and Pumpkin Pie. I should be doing 5 DPS unless you use the tongue? No, I'm not. Oh, unless you mean against those, in which case, yes. That would probably work out to be about 2.5 DPS, attacking those segments. Realistically, probably more of 2 DPS. Because he uses the tongue about half the time. And the bulk of his HP is in the top eye and the core. Yeah, I'm gonna make the decision to research these. Because I don't feel like having the fight go poorly because we just lacked, we did not prepare enough potions ahead of time, and we don't find out until 100 hours in or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I won't research healing potions yet. I'll consider it. But I should be able to avoid using those in the first place, whereas these potions here I feel like are a lot more essential to what's going on. I don't know how well I could actually do anything without them. We're about 200 HP down, though. I've been streaming for about 13 minutes. Took a brief pause at one point, though. Our DPS may be even worse than we thought, at least against these hands. We'll have to see. But as long as we can avoid letting him heal, we will be fine. At this point, this is just a very, very long endurance test. And focus test. This has got to be one of the most agonizing streams on planet Earth. I hope you're ready for weeks of this. That's how long the Moonlord's gonna take. But I'm going to do this. I don't care what it takes. Oops. Hey, Wetfish, welcome back. Yeah, 250 now. As long as we can end the day and say that we made more progress than the previous day, I'm content. You know what, for the sake of not ripping my teeth out, I will research, greater healing potions. I see no reason to, not do that. Oops. Yo, garbage waste threat theme. Yeah, I think the beginning is going to be the slowest part. The core in the head should be more consistently hittable. And as a result, our DPS on them should be higher, in theory. Okay, 300 in. And keeps timing itself in a really inconvenient way. We're getting in damage. That's what matters. Two DPS. You don't have to be so negative. Like, we're gonna do it. It's fine. You don't have to. I mean, these streams are basically probably just going to be vibing to various soundtracks and music while I do this. Realistically, that's probably what's gonna happen. Because I just don't think I can devote my focus that much. Meanwhile, literally years are passing by. Oh, the NPCs aren't aging. I don't think time exists. If years are passing by, how come the Angler's still a bratty little shit? Nah, Terraria time's not real. Oh, that was a weird hitch for a second. I don't like that. How long do you expect this to take? No, Copper Short Sword did not take 90 hours. Copper Short Sword Moonlord took about 30-something hours. The Moonlord, Duke Fishron, the Empress of Light, and the Lunatic Cultist combined took 90 hours. That was what that was. Is it even possible to kill Moonlord? I mean, I'm killing him, so... For comparison, though, Lawnmower, at the rate that we are currently dealing damage, I think 160 hours. However, I believe our rate of damage will increase a little bit as time goes on. Because we're currently attacking his most difficult to hit segment, which is his hands. As we switch to attacking his eye and his core, our DPS should go up because those segments are much easier to deal damage to. They are more consistently positioned and you can hit them more consistently. I would take a ballpark guess of 100 hours, though. Does he heal himself? He can if I have a lapse in concentration for more than, like a second or so at an inopportune time. I am setting this up so that he does not heal himself, but he is able to, if I were to make a mistake. But, just don't make a mistake. If you teleport, the leech despawns. Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that, but yeah. But yeah, once we get to attacking, like, the top eye up there, that should be a lot more consistent to hit. Same thing with the core. It's just the hands that are really, rough to deal damage to. Almost 400 HP in, though. It looks like our initial estimate was actually a bit low. I would guess we deal somewhere between 800 to 900 damage in an hour against the hands. Which means the hands would probably take... Let's see. They got 37,500 each. A very long time is the amount of time the hands would take. A very long time. Yeah, they despawn like regular enemies, so if you get far enough away, they just blink out of existence. Four days? I would be surprised if we're done with the Moonlord's hands by the end of the week. But I don't know. We'll see. I am going to be streaming very sporadically. Over the course of this fight, I am not going to be adhering to a consistent schedule. I am going to be streaming whenever I have the energy to fight the Moonlord. And I will be taking breaks and stopping streaming and then restarting them at odd hours. Most of the streams will likely consist of me just fighting the Moonlord. Probably with various soundtracks from various things in the background. If it's at night, I'll probably put on a gecko cam. But the idea here is to spend every moment that I can fighting him. That was a good example of me talking and almost causing him to heal because of lack of focusing, because trying to talk. Which is why I sat in silence for a lot of the second half of Copper Short Sword only. Okay, we're almost 500 down, though. So, easy ball poke is probably 500 damage an hour. Oh, sorry, 1,000 damage an hour. 500 damage every half hour. You know, given that we had some issues with restarting the stream, some time lost, pausing a little bit here and there, restarting music, things like that. 500, maybe a little more every half hour. Which means if he is ever to heal, we lose... Damn, he hit me twice with that. Sucks. Any point in time where he heals, we lose at minimum an hour. Assuming we've made an hour of progress. Which means it is absolutely imperative above all else to ensure that he never, for any reason, is ever able to heal. That is absolutely imperative. And once his second phase comes around, I'm really not sure how things are going to work out. But we'll tackle that when we get there. Means not much verbal contact. It is unlikely that I will be able to interact with chat a lot during these streams, particularly as time progresses. Because it really is not possible to do this while simultaneously distracting myself. I need to basically be at a pinnacle of being able to focus in order to make any progress here. And I need to maintain that focus for days and ultimately weeks in order to do this. I will reiterate though, I am never going to do something like this again. This is the only time I'm going to do this. Anything... At least in Terraria. There is a very big difference between challenges, and even low damage challenges, and this. But this would be like trying to... I don't even know what to draw a comparison to. The fact that this requires constant attention is the worst part? Yeah. I can successfully look off screen for a brief moment without risking much if I do it following when he sends his tongue out and I teleport away. Because at that point in time, I have about 15 seconds and I can start there. But even then, whether or not I'm going to be willing to take that risk is unlikely. There may be streams where I just sit there in complete silence. I'll be honest. Like, tuning into these is probably just going to be tuning into vibe to music. Or watch how it's going. For the sake of the lot of this, I may as well just be, a machine whose sole purpose is just to avoid the Moonlord healing and to stay alive and gradually whittle him down. I think if we deal 1,000 damage an hour, which seems to be, you know, our low estimate, our damage should be able to go up, as we attack his different segments, the end of low damage runs. I said that when we started this run. I am reiterating it now that we're finishing it, but yes, I am not going to do another low damage Terraria run like this. This is the last one. I wouldn't mind putting on the Risk of Rain 2 soundtrack. There's a herd over there, fuck. Okay, you broke 500 damage. Let me, Damn, I don't know how to get that hurt. It's gonna reduce the efficiency of my hurt statues is the issue. Whatever. Yes, if we deal 1,000 damage an hour, if I stream 5 hours a day, which I may be streaming more than that, it's entirely possible, but just for the sake of running some numbers, 5 hours a day, the hands have a combined 37,500. About 8,500 HP. Take 85 hours. About 5. 20 days? A little bit less than that. I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna have to stream a lot more than 5 hours a day. I will probably be streaming more or less around the clock as a result, because I don't want to spend literal months doing this. Oops. Fine. Moonlord's core barrier has a similarity to Beetle Husk? I mean, visually? I think his core is meant to resemble a brain. A top-down view of a brain. I have an idea for how I can fix this. If I, right now there's a slight issue where, I just do this. I had those going in the wrong direction. Hold on. Let me take a sec to recuperate my thoughts here. Go here. Block swap this. Block swap you. On treasure magnet. Actually, I could just, that's an easier way to do it. I can just swap in the treasure magnet whenever I need to pick up the heart that's out of place. That works fine. I don't have to make a complicated setup to do it. I don't know. I messed up these conveyor belts somehow. I don't know how, though. That I was joking? No? Man, random gods is kind of loud. Hey, Baloo. Hey, Quoxy. Oops. Put me at the end there. I am. I am. That is how I would describe my current state of being. By some legal technicality, I do exist. I wonder if it would be worth putting on the Brain of Confusion. I don't think it would. Because if it... Not even counting the cooldown. If I dodge 1 in 6 attacks... But then also take an additional... Actually, how much damage would I take? 6 extra damage per attack. I dodge 6 attacks. Dodge 1 in every 6 attacks. 36 would be the cutoff point. And most of the hits I'm taking are actually for more than 36 damage. Actually, I think the Brain of Confusion would be worth it. You know, not counting those small laser beams, most of the hits I'm taking are from the eyeballs popping out or the laser itself, and I think it's worth trying at least. Oh, I haven't. If I were to swap it out for the Flesh Knuckles, I would take 6 more damage per hit, but it might... Oh, I fucked up. Okay. I need to remove my, piggy bank. Hold on. There we go. That should fix it. Okay, let me try it. And see how I feel about it. Keep an eye on how it feels like my HP is doing on average. I am taking more damage, but I may ultimately end up taking less. Depending on how the dodging plays out. Hoping the iframe synergies do well. I'm not taking damage constantly, so I'm not sure how big it would do. I do seem to be doing fairly well on HP. I have been mostly topped off. Okay, we took some damage there. I can't tell if this is doing better or not, but I'll keep it for now, and I think it should theoretically be doing better. Okay. We are pretty close to 1,000 now. Hey, Inferno Folk. Heal for a sec. I don't know. I didn't have to sit still to heal like that when not using the plane. How many things it will take? I don't know. 100 hours. I don't have an answer. It's not going to take less than 100 hours. There's also a good, this is why we did not do the Empress of Light or Duke Fishron or Queen Slime or a lot of the optional bosses, is because this fight is going to take long enough as is. I don't need to fight more bosses than necessary on top of that. You know, the pre-hard mode ones are weak enough that it's not really too big of an issue fighting them, but, you know, Empress, Fishron, they got a lot of hit points, and they're not easy to hit, and they would have taken a very long time. I'm glad I got a bunch of advertisements today about, like, Prime Day or whatever. Because that reminded me to cancel my Amazon Prime subscription. Which I probably would have forgotten about otherwise. Alright, almost 1,000 down. We basically just do what we just did 200 times, and fight's over. You know, give or take a little bit, and it might actually be a bit faster than that, because, like I said, I think our DPS on the top eye and the core is going to be a bit higher. Hey, Hachima. This is just slow copper shortsword only Terraria? Basically. Also much less fun and interesting. However, I have decided to do it, and I'm going to finish it. Whatever that takes. And I intend to be done with this as soon as possible, so I'm going to be streaming a lot to knock out this health as fast as I can. I think the sound is off? Yeah. You can still kind of hear the teleporting noises, but the lawnmower itself, the lawnmower sound itself is toned down enough that you don't really have to do it. You can just vibe to the music. Oh. I think we've already managed to reach the dropped items limit in the world, which is convenient, because that's going to send our heart statues into overdrive, which is going to give a an on-demand large pool of hearts for me to pick up whenever I walk left. I'm planning for attacking the main eye. Yeah, just teleporting up. I have a teleporter set up there already. I just need to change the wiring so it goes there. You found 5 pebbles? Nice. How'd it go? across the 1,000 benchmark. And that's 1,000. So to go to Farmways, so you're heading all the way back across the map. Do you have any passages? They can help getting across wide areas. Oh. I can consistently avoid his healing for an hour. I should... Like, I feel like that indicates it is consistent enough that I can avoid it for any length of time. Like, if I'm not going to slip up in an hour, I shouldn't slip up at all, unless I make an egregious lapse of focus. Maybe I didn't hit the projectile cap. Maybe I just picked up how it's as more were spawning, and that's why it looked like I got a bunch. It was spawned items cap, sorry. Huh. What food am I using? Pumpkin pie. I did, after seeing the state of this fight, I did decide to research using journey mode, the 3 buffs I was using, to ensure that I would have enough of them regardless of how long the fight takes. Because I think I bought about 700 initially. Which 700 times 8 I don't think would have been enough time, because this fight's gonna be taking over 100 hours. So I ended up just researching there to make sure that I have enough to last the whole fight. Because I don't want to get 100 hours in and then go, oh shit, I didn't bring enough buff items. Yeah, pumpkin pie, regen, iron skin potions are what I'm using. I think if I break up the streams into 5,000 damage chunks, let me put it a different way. I want to get through at least 10,000 damage a day. Now, I think that's unreasonable to do in a single stream. If I stream 3 times a day for a little over 3 hours each, once in the morning, once in midday, once at night, that should give me enough time to mentally rest between streams. To make sure I don't make any egregious lapses in focus. That should also ensure that I get the damage that I want to get done. If I do 10,000 damage per day, we would finish the hands in about a week. And if the rest of the fight were to go at the same pace, which I don't think is likely, but if it were to go at the same pace, it would take about 20 streams. Which would be another 2 or so weeks on top of that. But I think it's going to speed up as we get faster. I think, realistically, this will probably take somewhere in the ballpark of 2 to 3 weeks if I stick to, you know, streaming pretty much as frequently as I can. I think I'll have to see how I'm feeling. The problem is we spent... Usually my focus cutoff is somewhere in the 3 to 4 hour range. After around 3 to 4 hours of streaming, I usually get to the point of mental fatigue where it is difficult to maintain focus, right? And the issue is we spent about an hour before the stream died earlier. We've actually been streaming for about 2 hours. It's just we didn't really start damaging him until this attempt started. If I I'll just go for as long as I can today, and tomorrow I will plan to get on the grind of streaming morning, afternoon, night. I'm not sure I'm going to do another stream this coming. Let's see how I'm feeling. How do you pause the game without despawning? You do that. And suffice it to say, if something happens and he were to despawn, the game would crash, something akin to that were to happen, I would just take a different weapon and get him back to the HP value that he was at. Because I'm not going to spend all that time in the pursuit of something that was out of my control to prevent in the first place. We would just get back to where we were. Now, if we die, of course, that's a different story. But, I'm really not sure how his second phase is going to go. I'm gonna have to think about how I want to fight the True Eyes. Like the Golem Total incident. No, we just fought Golem over again in the Golem Total incident. That was 100% my fault. More like the Skeletron incident. Unless you mean me dying, in which case, yeah. That was just me making a mistake. So we just fought him again. I don't know if I would have the mental strength to continue fighting the Moonlord again, start over from scratch if we were to die. I'm not sure that that is something that I would have the energy to do. That's a very tall order. If don't get Moonwade and then immediately attacked. I'm not going to die in his first phase. That's not going to happen. What I would be concerned about is his second phase, because I have not tested his second phase. I don't know how my survivability is going to stack up, as well as my essentially teleporting directly on top of him. To be able to attack his core repeatedly. I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm also going to have to set up teleporters for his second phase when the time comes. Which is putting me at potential risk. I'm not terribly concerned about dying, but it is a possibility. Rewiring them while he's alive? Yeah. I mean, right now I have it set up so that I teleport. Not only rewiring them, I mean, I don't have a teleporter to go to his core. Although I think if I just use that one directly underneath me, it would work fine. So I would just have to wire that up to work properly. Which is not terribly difficult to do. This was my twin setup, but that one down there looks like it's positioned correctly to hit the core. But I'm going to have to pull out the grand design and redo the wiring in order to access the different teleporters. Much like with Bouncy Dynamite only. But yeah, I think this was definitely the right call compared to Asphalt. Asphalt would have just been a huge headache. This is Don't Dig Up. This is not Get Fixed Boy. We played on Don't Dig Up so that we wouldn't have to pause time for the mechanical bosses and Skeletron and Eye of Cthulhu and whatnot. If this were Get Fixed Boy, he'd be, he'd be shooting out the boulders. I think for today, because we spent, or for this stream rather, because we spent all the time getting prepared and uh, dealing with all that, I'm going to try to deal 2,000 damage to him. At 2,000 damage dealt, I'm going to pause and end the stream, and then continue. I'll probably stream again later tonight, to continue, and hopefully get down another 3,000 or 4,000. I really don't want to fatigue myself, as, like I said earlier, the single most important thing is preventing him from healing. Get Fixed Boy doesn't meaningfully change Moonlord for this fight. It does. Get Fixed Boy would add Moonlord boulders, which would be problematic when trying to damage his top eye. It would also increase his health, and make the fight take significantly more time. It would also effectively be increasing his damage, although I guess I would be playing on Get Fixed Boy Classic. Effectively increasing his damage because it would bump his difficulty up, because if I was playing on Expert, I would be playing on Master, but I guess I would be playing on Classic, and then it would be the same. I don't like what they did to difficulties with For the Worthy and Get Fixed Boy in 1.4.4. Yeah, it would not have been possible to get here if we want to Get Fixed Boy. We would not have been able to kill the Get Fixed Boy Wall of Flesh. There's no shot. We barely managed to kill the classic Wall of Flesh. You haven't seen the expected damage buffs to projectile attacks? That is interesting. I have not tested that extensively, so I'm not sure. I had not noticed that behavior, though. I'd see Hachima. I mean, I'll be streaming this a lot, so if you want to tune in, there'll be no shortage of times where you can see me doing this. I gotta heal a bit. I can feel myself getting tired. I'm gonna cut off once we get to 2,000 damage dealt. Which is still a ways to go, but... Fatigue's the real killer here. is really just a chatting stream. Unfortunately, Lucas, it's not as much of a chatting stream as you might hope, because I cannot afford to look at chat as much as I would like to, because looking away and, talking about other things disrupts my focus a bit, and I need to maintain a very high level of focus in order to do this. So I can't just read and talk to chat, but I can. It's basically all I can do. Hey, Gil Bates. Okay. Almost at 1500.
What fate a slug cat?
Yo, what fate is Slugcat?
Prey and predator. As the old world died, a new ecosystem evolved. In a land where even rain can kill. Each creature struggles for its own survival. Each beast has a place on the food chain, which it seeks to deny. And through this ruined landscape, strange monstrosities and ancient mysteries, Slugcat journeys alone.
Thanks, Rith.
It's a search for shelter, a search for answers, a search for hope. What fate is Slugcat?
I think that means we move on to the Downpour soundtrack now. But I think What Fate is Slugcat is the last one on the Rainworld soundtrack video that I queued up. What? Damn it, YouTube. Just randomly pausing the videos that I have in a playlist to play for no reason. Alright. 16 away from 1500. Alright, 1500 damage. 500 more and we'll be done for the day. I should... Well, not for the day. Done for the stream. I'm probably going to continue again later tonight. Good example of me getting tired and forgetting which part of his attack cycle he was in. 418 to go. Now we can take a break. 389. Yes, Baltimus, I definitely will. However, that will likely be several weeks yet, as we are nowhere near being done. And the Moonlord will probably take as long as the entire run up to this point. Is there any content after Moonlord? There is not. And Moonlord is the end of the game. Don't you Duke Fishron? I'm not going to Duke Fishron. I mean, like, it's going to take long enough to do the Moonlord as is. Trying to do Duke Fishron or the Empress of Light on top of that, it just... no. Boss doesn't run away? No. The only situation in which the Moonlord would despawn, outside of weird glitches with the code, is if you die or leave the game. However, the Moonlord does have a rather potent self-healing mechanic, which is the reason we have to utilize all of these teleporters, particularly when we teleport far away, and there's that big white flash as he teleports to us. That teleport is us avoiding his healing, essentially. Right here. The reason for that is he has his tongue that comes out. If it hits you, it will inflict the Moonbite debuff, and then if you have the Moonbite debuff and his tongue is still out, it will send back healing leeches that have 400 HP, and upon reaching him, they will heal him for 1,000 each. Given our exceedingly low damage, it is not possible to kill these leeches before they reach him, as 400 DPS is not something we can do in, like, 2 seconds, or however long you have. And him healing for 1,000 is an extremely big problem when he's able to do that every 30 seconds or so. Or 3 times every 30 seconds. So we have to avoid him, which means what we're doing here is avoiding the tongue from ever hitting us, which means we never get the debuff. And he doesn't heal. And sometimes the tongue does hit us, but because we're very far away from it, the tongue and the clots are the only out of the Moonlord that does not teleport with him. The True Eyes do, all of his other parts do. The tongue does not. Which means if you are distant when it comes out and you teleport somewhere else, it will not follow you. It will stay far away. Clots will spawn on it, and then they'll despawn because you're not close to them. Which is the crux of what we're doing here. Failing that, there are alternative means of avoiding his healing, but this is by far the easiest one for the circumstances. any alternative method would be rather annoying to set up. The way people used to do it, which I've never done, and I think is quite cheesy and kind of lame. But it was a big strategy in 1.3 before they nerfed the nurse, was just to use the nurse for low damage purposes. She was extremely cheap before 1.4 buffed her prices, or increased her prices. And she would also cure the debuff, which means he wouldn't heal, so you would just constantly use the nurse to heal the debuff whenever you got it, and also to keep yourself alive, because she would just keep healing you. However, given the increase in her prices, it's not really remotely plausible to do anymore. You'll be paying 20 plus gold per heal by the time of the Moonlord. Which really is not sustainable. Even if you had a really good money farm, you would need to spend a long time grinding coin, and even then, the duration of a fight like this, you're going to blow through an obscene amount of money, probably more than you can carry or put in your piggy bank, even with 999 stacked platinum coins. Maybe not, though. Maybe you could carry enough, but I'm not going to test it anyway. Of course, this is journey mode, so we could, like, research money, but that's kind of lame, and I don't want to do that. The only things I have researched right now were defender medals to save a little bit of time, because I grinded out 50 medals, and then didn't really feel like grinding out another 50, so I just researched them. It was time consuming enough to do the first 50. I also researched a heart statue, because during the Wall of Flesh, we had a heart statue that just blinked out of existence when we were in the middle of using it for no discernible reason. I still don't know why it happened. It just decided it would rather not exist, and just disappeared. And I also researched the current potion buffs that I'm using, because I'm not going to restart this Moonlord fight, and I don't know if I brought enough. On the off chance I didn't bring enough, I just researched it to make sure that we are going to have enough. We're not going to run out of potion buffs, and therefore have concerns about whether or not we're going to have Iron Skin regen well fed 100 hours into the fight. Okay, 217 damage to go, and then I'm going to be pausing the game and taking a break, and we'll continue later, during a different stream. Probably later today, like I said. I'm going to be streaming multiple times a day, while we are killing the Moonlord. Example of me being tired. But I set my goal and I'm sticking to it. I'm not stopping until we get 200. Or 2,000. Which is another 200 damage. The way to make it run automatically. I mean, you could probably find a way to automate the setup, but I'm not going to. given enough effort, you can basically do anything with wiring in Terraria. Like, I'm sure there could be a way to automate this, but it would be a lot of work, and not work that I'm willing to do, nor am I particularly familiar with wiring systems, nor do I want to do that. Okay, 166. Oh, I'm tired. Okay, less than 100 to go today. Hey, Jason, man. Scary? It's pretty spooky, yeah. $64 damage. Hey, Jason, man. We've come right at the end of the stream here. The cutoff point for this stream is going to be when we deal 2,000 damage, which is about 59 damage away. And then I'm going to take a break and pick up some other time. Probably later tonight. For another few hours. And just keep staggering, you know, 2 to 4 hour streams like that until we finish them. Which will be a couple weeks. This is no small undertaking. 46 more. I'm gonna stream twice a day? Probably more than twice a day. Probably 3, maybe 4 times a day. I am intent on killing the Moonlord as quickly as possible. Which is going to involve streaming a lot. And I'm not really going to be doing anything else until the Moonlord is dead. Yeah, 11 more damage. Okay, this should be our last cycle here. There we go. Alright, let me, I'll pause there for now. That's going to be the end of the stream for today. I'm going to pick this up probably later tonight. I'm probably going to go rest a bit. And I'm just going to be doing staggered intermittent streaming all throughout the next, well, long while. Just gradually chipping away at his HP throughout the day. No more than a few hours at a time, because I have to make sure to have enough focus to make sure he doesn't heal. So yeah, bye everyone.